Okay, so now we're going to talk about how to find a percentage of a number. To start with, you need to be confident to find the main percentages of a number, and then you'll be able to use those as building blocks. Let's imagine we're finding a percentage of 120. So what do we know? Percentages are always out of 100. So we know, first of all, that 100% equals 120. What we can do is we can divide that by 10 to give us 10%. 120 divided by 10 is 12. And we can divide that again by 10 to give us 1%. So 12 divided by 10 is 1.2. From there, if we wanted to, we could double our 1%, and that will give us 2%. Double 1.2 is 2.4. There are other things we can do. Obviously, from 100%, we could halve that, and that would give us 50%. Half of 120 is 60. If we wanted 5%, then we could divide this by 10 to give us 5%. 60 divided by 10 is 6. We also could, if we needed to find 25%, we'd be able to halve our 50%. So 25%, half of 60 is 30. So you can see how we've built up a lot of our building blocks that we can now use to find a percentage of a number. Let's imagine we've been asked to find 37% of 120. We've worked these out. Now we can use our building blocks. So how could we get to 37%? Well, the most obvious way is to use our 10%. So 10% times 3 would be 30%. So we could do 3 times 12, which would be 36. So 30% equals 36. Now we need 7%. And I know that I can easily make that up with a 5% and a 2%. Okay, 5% is 6, so we're going to add our 6, and 2% is 2.4, so we're going to add our 2.4. So 36 add 6 is 42, and 2.4 would be 44.4. You could obviously use column addition if you needed to. Now let's imagine that we're asked to find 77% of 200. When we get good at this, we don't need to write out all of our building blocks. We can just simply choose the ones that we're going to use to find 77%. So the obvious one would be to start with 50%. Well, if I know that 100% is 200, then 50% is half of that. So 50% is 100. I also notice that I can halve that, and that will give me 25, which is going to take me nearer to my 77%. So half of 50% is 25, so half of 100 is 50. So if I add my 50 and 25, I'm going to be at 75%. Now I just need 2%. The best way to do this is if I find 1% of 1% of 200, so that's dividing by 100, that is 2. And then I can double that, which means that 2% is 4. So now I want to add my 100 with my 50 and my 4. And once I've added all those together, I am going to have 77% of 200.